Hello and welcome again. In the last lesson, we looked at numbers, right? So, in this lesson, we are going to be looking at collections, right? So, basically, collections is a super type in that, right? Is a super class or a super data type in that has sub data types, and the sub data types are list, sets, and maps, I believe. So we are going to be looking at lists. Normally, what a collection is, right, is a collection is simply items grouped together. All right, that's simply what a collection is. Just um, items that are grouped together in some way, in some form. All right. So we are going to be looking at first of all list.dat. All right. Okay. So what is a list? A list is simply an ordered collection, right? An ordered collection of items. All right. So I'm going to create a list variable, all right, with the list data type, just as we have been doing for other data types. Okay, so a list of, I'll call this list my items, right, and then I'll initialize it to this value. All right, so lists are initialized using this square brackets. Okay, lists are initialized using square brackets. So inside this square brackets, now remember I said that a list is a collection of items. All right, a list is a collection of an ordered collection of items. So I'll have to put items inside this list. So my items can be of any data type, like string, like a number, as in any number, be it integer or double, like even another list, right? I can decide to put another list here. Okay, so this is what a list is. It's simply a collection of an ordered collection of items. Now, what does this ordered means? Ordered simply means they are in order. They are in a particular order. All right. So each item in this list has an arrangement, has a position, a designated index. All right. So talking about index or index numbers, I don't know if we have done that. I think we have looked at that with strings, where each character in a string has an index number, all right, starting with 0. So the first item has an index number of 0. The second item has an index number of 1. The third item has an index number of 2. And the fourth item has an index number of 3. Just the way we did in strings, if you remember, all right? So to access any of these values by index number, I want to print like one of these values by index number. All right, so I'll simply have my main function, and I'll say print my items, and I will have to open a square bracket here and pass in the index of the item I want to print. All right, now I passed in 0 here. All right, so I want to print the 0th item in my list. That's what this means. All right, and that 0th item is this name, Ebuka. So if I run it, you'll see it. All right, so that's it. If I want to print the last item is this list. Okay, so and the index number is 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, now here you have it. Now if I happen to pass in an index number that is not within the range of my list, right, now all the items here, I have items 0 to 3, but if I happen to try and try to access 4 here, there's no 4th index in this particular list, right? So I am going to get an error. And this error is a range error. All right, it's a range error. So I only have values 0 to 3 here. Talking about index numbers. All right, index number 0 to 3 is what I have here in this list, but I am trying to access 4. All right, I'm trying to access 4, so there's nothing like 4 in this list unless I add it by myself. All right, I just added a boolean value. All right, but before then there is no such thing as 4 as the 4th. There was no such thing as the 4th index. All right, so that is why we say a list is an ordered collection, because each item in a list has an index. Okay, now there's something else we can do. If, assuming I have a list containing an infinite number of items, maybe a very large number of items, and it's hard to know it's hard to know the actual length of that list, because I'll have to count the items one by one. All right, in that case, in that scenario, what I can simply do is I'll just do my items dot length. All right, that's this our list dot length, in order to know the length of my list. All right, so it's telling me that I have 4 items in this list, which is true. All right, so to know how many items are in your list, you simply do your list dot length. All right, and here it is giving me 4. So how I can now know the index range of the items in my list is just subtract this 4 by 1. So if I do 4 minus 1, I'll have 3. And now I know that my items consist of index numbers 0 to 3. All right, I believe that is self-explanatory. Okay, now also I can access the last item in my list. So if I want to print the last item in this list, no matter what it is, all right, I'll just do my list dot last. Right, and now I'm getting the last item. I can also get the first item if I so wish. Right, my list dot first, and it's giving me the first items. So these are some properties. All right, some properties of list. Alright, so something else I want to show you guys is how to insert elements into a list. Okay, so we have a simple method called the add method. Alright, and this is how it works. if I happen to say my items dot add, and here I just want to add a string that says hello world. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add a value to my list. Alright, I'm trying to add a new value to my list. Okay, and there's a simple method for this, which is the add method. Alright, so if I print this list again, my items dot, no, just printing my items. Alright, I now have this. Alright, so this particular list I'm printing is the list I had before I added this. Alright, and now after adding this, I print again and I have this. Okay, so this is before. Alright, which is coming from this print statement. Alright, and then I added, and then I have this after. Remember, our compiler executes our code line by line. Okay, so that's what's going on here. So I can add more than one items also. Can I? Okay, dot add. The add takes only one value, one dynamic value. So since I want to add 2 items, what I can simply do is I will just add a list of those 2 items. Okay, and or I can just add them separately. So that's it. So I believe, I hope we understand lists. Now we said that a list is an ordered collection of items, right? So which means we have another type of collection. We have another collection called set, which is an unordered collection of items. All right, so that is what set is. And what does set look like? If I have, sorry, I'll just create a set, just like I created a list, my set, and then I'll initialize it to an empty set. Now this set is empty. All right, just as my list can also be empty. All right, I can have an empty list and I can have an empty set. Okay, but then I want to add some items for the purpose of this class. I want to add some items to this set. Let me copy all these items and use them. All right, so I have the same items in my list as I have in my sets. All right, so now what is the difference between these two? The 2 major differences are, number 1, okay, just as you can see here, a list is an ordered collection while a set is an unordered collection. And I told you that what this ordered collection means is that each item in this list has a position indicated by its index number. All right, so every item here has an index number, but a set does not have that arrangement. Items in a set do not have that arrangement. They do not have index numbers. All right, so I cannot do my set and access any of the items by index. All right, I cannot. All right, even though I can add. All right, I can add just as I did in my list, and I can remove also. I did not mention that in list. You can actually remove from both list and set. All right, so what do I want to remove? Let me remove this double 30.5. all right, so if I print, you're going to find that I'm going to have this present because I added it, hello world. I'm also going to have good morning present, but this 30.5, which was initially in my set, is no longer there because I have removed it. All right, and now I'm printing my set. Previously it was there. In this first print it was there. All right, but after carrying out my operations and printing again, it is no longer there. All right, so that's basically it. And one more thing, I can repeat items in a list. All right, I can have a repetition just like here now in my list. Okay, in my list I already have this string Ebuka, and I added it again, right? And I don't have my compiler doesn't have any problem with that. All right, so you can have duplicates in a list. Items. Let me just call this my list instead of my items. Alright, so same thing here, just so we can know that it is a list. Okay, so I have Ebuka and 20. I also have Ebuka and 20 here again. Alright, so I can repeat items in a list, but I cannot do the same thing in a set. Alright, I'm getting this yellow squiggly lines, which is pointing me to a problem, an error. It says 2 elements in a set literal shouldn't be equal. Alright, so it's saying that 2 elements should not be equal. You should not have equal elements. Alright, so that is a problem. That is you going against the rule. Now, as you can see, even if I print it and it prints, it ignores these two. It ignores these two because they are duplicates. They should not be here. All right. You should not repeat items in a set. Okay. So even when I printed the set, these two did not appear. All right. So that's it. That's basically it. I hope you really understand. Right. So I'm going over to the next topic now, which is another kind of collection in that known as map. All right, or maps. We're going to be looking at that shortly. Thank you, and see you in the next class.